In 8 bullet points, I'll explain to you what all this whole thing is all about. The first one is that under the government plans, a new end settlement model will be based on 4 pillars. 1, character. Secondly, integration. Thirdly, contribution. And lastly, residence. Standard qualifying period for ILR to rise from 5 years to 10 years, with 15 years for lower skilled workers below RQF level 6. Reduction possible for integration, English proficiency, volunteering, and high tax contribution. For individuals that are able to speak and understand English language to a degree level, could have reduction to the qualifying period. They talked about the importance of doing voluntary jobs. They made mention of this before. I think they are very serious with this, because with what I can see here, if you are able to get a company, like good company to volunteer with, you could be eligible for a shorter number of years, before your ILR. And also they talked about high tax contribution. So people that are paying their taxes, yes, they understand that everybody pays taxes. Those individuals that are really high income earners, according to this report, they would be eligible for a shorter period of time. Fast track settlement for high earners, entrepreneurs, global talent, and innovator founder visa holders, 3 years, and frontline public service workers, then 5 years. What do you think about this? Because they said frontline public service workers, for NHS workers, nursing assistants, healthcare assistants, I don't know if this is going to affect them. To be honest, it's not clear to me, because to me, I feel like they should be considered as frontline public service workers, because of course they are the ones attending to this patient, isn't it? But yeah, that is how they put it here. So the next one is illegal migrants and visa overstayers subject to up to 30 years wait for settlement. So if at any point you had overstayed, people that came here illegally, they will have to wait for 30 years. Migrants reliant on benefits face a 20-year wait, with future plans to limit access to benefits to citizenship rather than settlement. Clean criminal record required for settlement. Threshold under review. So this particular one is under review. And the last one here is transitional arrangement for existing migrants to be determined via consultation. Published by Electronic Immigration Network, and that was published today, the 20th of November.
Sorry for the break in transmission. I actually find this very useful, and I feel like this could actually help you guys, especially those of us that are struggling to understand what was announced. So this particular one was published by IAS. IAS is Immigration Advice Service. They are solicitors that provide, legal advice to people regarding immigration issues. I'm not going to bore us with this, but just for clarity, this table that you're seeing on the screen is how the UK settlement system works currently, okay? So if you come down here, you will now see the new qualifying period for settlement. That's the proposal the government is bringing in. So the new qualifying continuous residence period to obtain indefinite leave to remain in the UK will undergo significant changes under the new proposal. Settlement will be earned, and each visa route in the UK will have a default or baseline qualifying period before adjustments up or down are made for contribution, integration, and character. So what they are trying to say is that the government actually wants to cap ILR at 10 years, but based on your contribution, integration, and character, you could either have it more than 10 years or you have it lower than 10 years, okay? So the first point here is the default qualifying period for ILR for most migrants would increase from 5 years to 10 years with some exemptions. Some groups, especially lower paid skilled workers or lower skilled workers, including many on health and care visas, could see a 15-year baseline to qualifying for ILR. There would be minimum mandatory requirement that everyone must meet attaining to character, integration, contribution, and residence. Your ILR qualifying period could be adjusted down, rewarding higher contribution or strong integration, or adjusted up, penalizing public funds use, legal entry, overstaying, and some other factors. The separate ILR 10-year long residence route would be abolished, with time instead earned through this adjustment. Listen to this important part, okay? For those who are already in the UK and making plans for settlement after 5 years, the new consultation may be agonizing. If you are able to apply for ILR now or soon, don't delay. If you are eligible for ILR in the coming years and you don't know how the announcement will affect your personal and family timeline, our immigration lawyers are here to help, okay? So you can actually contact them. I think they are really good, yeah? That's if you need their legal advice. So this is like a summary of what you should expect. So currently, the default year, as we all know, is 5 years. So the baseline would be 10 years. And then for long residencies, currently is 10 years. We all know this, right? So what they are proposing now is that the 10-year route as it is today will be abolished, and the 10-year qualifying period will replace many visa routes with other visa routes facing a longer route to settlement. Timelines can be adjusted for contribution and integration. Row of income: currently salary threshold proof of funds is mainly route specific, e.g. skilled worker visa salary threshold. Then what they are proposing is minimum tax paying income for 3 to 5 years plus possible high income can earn fast track. For public funds normally allowed after ILR, we all know that once you are able to get your ILR, you are eligible to claim benefit. That's if you want to, yeah. But what they are proposing is possible NRPF, no recourse to public funds with UK settled status, with benefit access delayed until citizenship. The impact of immigration breaches: currently, settlement can be refused on suitability grounds, though long residency can sometimes become available later. But with the government proposal, breaches can add 5 to 20 years to qualifying period, up to a possible 30-year route. So if you come down here, there is another table here that says minimum mandatory criteria, the core earned settlement test. One of the consultations set out the minimum requirements every applicant would have to meet. 1. Under suitability and character. You are required to meet Part 9 suitability rule: no disqualification, criminality, deception, or public good issues. No outstanding litigation, NHS, tax, or other government debts. Before now, I was wondering what they mean by debt. Does it mean that if you are in any sort of debt at all, it could be like credit card, loans, and all of that, maybe that would disqualify you from getting ILR. But this source has gone ahead to describe what the government is trying to talk about. No outstanding litigation, NHS, okay? So that's NHS debt. For instance, you are owing the NHS probably for medical treatment or something. Another important point noted here is tax debt, just in case you are owing the government any amount regarding tax or any other government debt. The next one is integration. Under integration, you need to meet the English requirement, that's English at B2 CRFR level, okay? Then pass the life in the UK test. For contribution, annual taxable income above £12,570 or equivalent for 3 to 5 years before applying. So the second part of this article talks about reducing your qualifying period. So what can you now do to reduce your qualifying period? Examples of reduction proposed: 1. C1 English higher than required level, if you have English to degree level. Secondly, for very high earnings, you could be qualified if you earn salary within the range of 125,000 taxable income for 3 years, then you would have minus 7 years, okay? For higher earnings, when you are able to earn £50,270 for 3 years, then you would have minus 5 years. For working 5 years in specific public service occupation like the NHS, teaching at RQF6 and above levels, then you could have minus 5 years. Significant community work volunteering would be minus 3 to 5 years, subject to consultation on scales and evidence. If you come down here, it tells us the people that are exempted, and these are partners, child parent of a British citizen who meets core family rules and still settle after 5 years. Then for Hogong BNO route holders, can still settle after 5 years. Global talent innovator founder will still remain 3 years, okay? Last one is the increasing your qualifying period. You could actually have additional number of years added to your 10 years baseline. This is to penalize people that are defaulting in some areas. criterias. So for example, receiving public funds. So if you receive public funds for 12 months, then you will have additional 5 years added to your 10 years. The person would be qualified after 15 years. Next one, receiving public funds for more than 12 months, you have 10 years added to your baseline. That would mean qualifying after 20 years. The third one, enter the UK illegally. So if you enter the UK illegally, you have additional 20 years added to the baseline, and that would mean qualifying after 30 years. Entered originally on a visit visa, so you have 20 years added to your qualifying number of years, and that would mean qualifying after 30 years. Lastly, overstayed leave for 6 months. You have 20 years added to your 10 years. In this case, the person will be qualifying after 30 years. So guys, I feel like this is really helpful. I will leave the link to this source on the description box of this video. You can as well read more to get more information. Thank you.